Hey you. For the past few days, especially, I've been thinking about how my sense and understanding of love has changed throughout my life and different stages of my life. And yeah, how for the longest time ever since I was a teenager, not even that probably, ever since I was a kid, I thought that love, and by love I of course meant romantic love, is the ultimate goal and purpose and meaning of life. And that finding that, Prince Charming or whatnot will basically save me and will make me the happiest person in the world and fully content with everything and just free of all the troubles of life. And yeah, I mean, no surprise that I thought that, because I was also, a TV addict. And I would often say that TV was my nanny, and I grew up watching all these films and TV shows and everything that basically was just programming me with all these stories and ideas about love, plus all the things that I've heard and saw, in the lives of people around me. But yeah, especially, my understanding of love has changed a lot. Obviously, there are these, unconscious beliefs that I'm yet to unravel. But I do still believe that love, as this energy that unites us all, is just holding everything together. And it's like that that primal energy of what keeps us doing things, and not just us humans, but everything in the world. I do see love as this energy that connects us all into one. But I'm not separating romantic love. Well, I mean, I am separating sort of to understand what is going on in my life, and it is a different quality of love, but it's still the same frequency of love, if you will. But yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot in the context of spirituality, and also what it means to be yourself. So let me try to put everything together in a coherent sense. So yeah, this thought has been popping up in my head a lot, that to become yourself, you need to unbecome everything that you are not. I'm not quite sure where I read this quote originally, but it's not mine. But it's might be Nietzsche, but I need to double check. But basically, this couldn't be more true. And obviously, from a psychological perspective, if you're into self-analysis and self-study, this is something that, it's not that hard to grasp, that it's, we can be talking about limiting beliefs and all the programming from society and from your family and your peers, that in order to really understand who you are, what you want, and what you like, and what kind of person you are, you need to look into these programs in yourself and try to dismantle them. Because ultimately, when you think about, being a kid, before all this unconscious, all these shades that, you get from your parents, from your family, from your country, from your cultural, geopolitical situation at the time that you were born, and growing up in, as if, you were born with a sense of yourself in a way that you cannot explain. You don't have the whys, but you know what you like and what you don't like. Talking about toddlers, for instance, right? They, whenever they start speaking, they will speak whatever comes to their minds without all the, restrictions of the society. And then they would, as children, we would know and we would show which person we like, which person we don't like, without knowing the whys, but we just know the whats and the whos. But yeah, and during our lives, we just get, we just acquire these shades on our eyes, as if we have these transparent glasses, but then we have these shades with different lenses bent different ways and different colors, and and we become a mixture, a collage of our environment, of which for the most part, when we are growing up, we have no control over. And then we might be naturally into self-analysis, the way, for instance, that I was always thinking deeper into, what does it all mean? What's the meaning of life? What's the purpose? What's the, why I'm thinking like this, why I'm acting like that? But even, studying psychology, was really very powerful, but it wasn't really digging, it wasn't helping me digging deep enough until I got my first spiritual awakening. And then was the time when, all the things that I was not were so painfully obvious that it was just not possible to keep doing those things or keep being that way or keep on being in those environments that were not in alignment with myself. But it wasn't an instant process, and it actually took years, and it's still taking, I'm still on that journey, very much so. But yeah, it's just this thought of, to become yourself is to unbecome everything that you are not. I think this is the core of what it means to be spiritual, what spirituality is all about, what, that's why spiritual awakenings are so powerful and so painful as well. And especially, why is it so painful? It's painful for our egos, because our whole lives we might be living in the way that we thought we're just building our personalities and building our character and building our lives, and then you realize that a lot of it has been, illusions and not what you actually needed. Well, maybe it was what you wanted, but not what your soul wanted. But coming back to romantic relationships, well, I still feel that these are, these are the containers that you just get, all your growth will be accelerated. It's just these, I see them, yeah, just a connection between two people where that connection is, well, and as deeper as, and as stronger the connection is, the faster your growth will be as well, you know, emotionally, psychologically, and especially spiritually. And the more aware you are of that, the better. But it can also mean that, you know, it will show you things that the romantic relationship, you will show to each other, you will mirror each other's shadows, which is, you know, not as romantic as we are led to believe, you know, romantic relationships should be, right? And if both people are ready to do the work, that could be, and that might be just the most amazing thing, because going through those shadows and going through that mud, you will eventually, you know, dig yourselves, like both partners will dig themselves out of that mud, and freer and more happier, you know, than ever. And of course it's one layer after another, but then it's definitely worth it. But it could be sad to understand that two partners might be on a different timelines and different, yeah, basically timelines, and one of the partners might not be ready to do the work and might not think that romantic relationship should be about work at all, that it should be all easy. And yeah, and then breakups might happen as well. That will show a lot of things about yourself as well. So there's a lesson everywhere. But you know, I've been through that, and I've been through these really painful periods of time when I had to realize that eventually and essentially it's all about self-love. And even if a romantic relationship ends, it doesn't mean that, you know, it wasn't worth it or it's a failed relationship. I don't believe in that. Like, there's no failed relationships. I think if you, especially if you're conscious, if you're aware of things that are, you know, happening, and if you realize that life is happening for you, not to you, and there's a lesson everywhere, and you know, how can it be failed? I mean, you were happy, you know. So it's a beautiful thing. But to go through this understanding that, oh, there's still so much to heal and so much to unravel, that can be painful. But it's, yeah, if you just have that sense of, you know, at the end of the day, it's just being with yourself and loving yourself unconditionally and taking care of yourself unconditionally and being yourself. If that's your, you know, if that's your sense of core and sense of, if that's your goal in life, and if that's your, you know, north and star, then it's possible to overcome anything. And once you have these things, then, you know, your environment will reflect that back to you. But that's not going to be something that you do all the inner work for. So I don't know, there's just I felt that I want to talk about that. I'm not sure if that didn't end up being an epic ramble, but I don't know, to end it, this is, basically what I just said. This is the message that I wanted to send to you guys, is that just, if you feel like being your authentic self is your North and Star, is the way to feel content and happy, and equally importantly, curious in life, then you can do anything. And you can go through these programs and you can shatter them, but it's never ending, which is beautiful. It's a little bit bittersweet, but it is beautiful. How can we ever know that we finally truly, purely ourselves? Not until the enlightenment, I suppose. Not until we feel that we actually, all connected into one. But that's another level that is not even, it's not sure when is it going to be available for me, but that's not the point. It's just being ultimately curious about being as authentic as possible and loving yourself as much as possible and taking care of yourself as much as possible. All right, so this is my ramble for today. Right, lots of love. Ciao for now.